How do they do it? Why do they do it? Riding and crashing and riding and winning and always faster and faster and faster.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to With Antone MotoGP 2025. And today we're going to look at the Jerez round in Spain, round 5 of the MotoGP season this year. And what a round it was. Well, after 5 seasons and 89 race starts, Marc Marquez is a GP winner. So congratulations to Alex. He rode really well on the Sunday. He had a little bit of luck, but as they say in MotoGP, you need a little bit of luck and you've got to make your own luck. And I think that's what he did. You know, qualified very well, had a great sprint race on the Saturday. Had some big crashes on the Friday, which really shook him up. And I think we need to remember that. He had a little bit of a sore arm and hand coming out of that. But he really rode well, and congratulations to him. And I think it's a major turning point for him now to actually be a MotoGP Grand Prix winner in the senior class. So it's amazing what you can do if you hang in there. So congratulations and a great race. Well, there's a couple of things we want to cover here with Antone MotoGP 2025. And yet again, here I am. I'm going to talk about the Dorna World Feed commentary. Oh my God, how frustrating is the commentary. I really am struggling to endure it. I don't know. Let me know down in the comments what you think. But this Jack Appleyard, I don't know. I'll do some research whether he's ever raced a bike. But some of the commentary, some of the comments he makes, I mean, really, oh my God, the coverage. And while we're on the coverage, why can't they show the time gaps between the riders? I mean, they give very limited graphical information. And I know they want you to buy the timing app. But honestly, surely as experienced watchers or new to the sport, let's do a little bit better. What do you think about that? So a lot happens in, where you start on the grid, and qualifying, I should say, for Jerez round 5 was pretty well a big part of what happened in the race. When I stop and watch the qualifying, we've lost the king. We've lost the king of one-lap blistering pace, Jorge Martin. He's not with us. He's back off from, he's got out of Qatar. He's back home apparently, but we've lost him. We've lost Jorge Martin. And I think we saw an error from Marc Marquez on qualifying. He went out and did that fantastically quick lap, 1 lap, and he sat down. I think if you watch back the footage, he did the 1 lap on the first tire, then he went and sat down in the pits. And that's not exactly what we really want to be seeing, but what we did see was Quartararo on the Yamaha wringing its neck, getting everything out of that motorbike. So congratulations to Quartararo. Finally returning on the 12 million euros that he's paid each season. But one disappointment for me with Jorge Quartararo is his attitude after crashing out in the sprint race. This whole, it doesn't matter, I was out in front. Well, it does matter. You're paid a lot of money from Yamaha, and you're paid that money to win the races. You're not paid the money to lead 1 lap and crash, trying to outbrake Marc Marquez in the sprint race out wide and on the loose stuff and throwing it down the road. That attitude, I can understand the excitement of being able to run around at the front. As he said, nothing like clear sky and no one in front of him was great. But that's not his job. His job's not 1 lap. His job is to win the races. And we saw Marc Marquez storm away in the sprint. He won by over a second, but at one point he was up to a couple of seconds. Not the most exciting sprint race, but certainly one that was a good points haul for Marc Marquez. Just while we're talking about Saturday action, we see Pecco Bagnaia interviewed after the sprint finish, 3rd place for Bagnaia. And he's talking about how the Marquez brothers left the pit lane too early and the red light was on, and hopefully he will get, promoted up the grid. I mean, he's got go free written on the back of his leathers, as we talked about, but he is not mentally free at all. He is not free of what's happening with Marquez. And And he really should be worrying about his own performance and not being beaten by last year's Ducati, and certainly not being out-qualified by Yamaha, which is clearly down in outright speed and pace. So this is, again, part of the mental disintegration that we've been seeing with Bagnaia over the time. And this really followed up on exactly what happened on the Sunday. But a little bit about Marc Marquez. Who can beat Marc Marquez? Well, in my view, there's two people that can beat Marc Marquez. And one of them we saw on Sunday. It's himself. Marc Marquez beat himself. Now there's conjecture as to whether the tyre pressure was an issue. Now we know the second part of the race is his strongest part, so I'm not too sure. He might have been caught off guard with that battle with Bagnaia in the first couple of laps. But to throw it down the road so early, whether it was a pressure situation, whether his tyre pressure had spiked, he probably was planning on being out front and being behind. That might have caught him out. And who's the second person that can beat Marc Marquez? I think it's Casey Stoner. Like, Stoner is the only guy for me who's currently on the planet that can actually outride and actually beat him. So that could be an interesting little discussion going forward. So let's move on to the race itself. As I mentioned, you had Marc Marquez crashing out early on in the race, and obviously, relegating down to the back of the field, and really getting up as high as 12th at the end. Again, as I mentioned at the start of this video, wouldn't it have been nice to see the time gaps? I mean, he pulled in nearly over half a second on Rins in the last lap just to get up to that position, and I think that would have been great to see. KTM, Pedro Acosta, the 30 million euro man. I don't know whether 30 million should buy you 7th place, beaten to the line by Brad Binder, actually. And what about Vinales on the KTM? 4th position for Vinales. We keep talking about the train wreck. I'm still a believer that it's coming, but I'll have to give him some credit. When you've got KTMs and you've got Yamaha, Quartararo finishing 2nd to Marc Marquez. Yeah, so Bagnaia in 3rd, 2 seconds behind Quartararo, nearly 4 seconds off the lead, beaten by last year's bike, the 2024, in the hands of Marc Marquez, and beaten by the Yamaha of Quartararo. So he finished up in 3rd. Look, for me, Ogura, what a fantastic ride on the Aprilia. They changed the setup of his bike quite radically. More of a chopper style, I think he's referring it to. So lowering down the seat height and raising up the height of the bars seemed to put him more in the bike, which I know is a position that is favoured by a lot of the riders. Top Rack in particular likes sitting in the bike. But really, for Aprilia, where was Bezzecchi? He was down in 15th. HRC, let's talk about them for a little bit. A lot of rumours around about who's riding the bike and who's going to get the contract. Appreciate everybody's comments and thoughts from the last episode, and drop your comments down below. But Marini ran in 10th, just ahead of Zarco, running in 11th. And significantly, the Jerez round 5 marked Ducati equaling 22 wins, which HRC had done back in 87, 88. So that's a real fillip for them. They equal the record. So they're heading off to France. It's just a matter now whether they can break that record. And who else can we talk about? I guess you've got the beast, Bastianini. He finished in 9th, but, honestly, well down in terms of time behind. Marc Marquez, what a ride. He finishes 20 seconds, 21 seconds after a crash. Got the bike up to 12th, which was fantastic. Yamaha, it's all Quartararo. Rins 13th. Augusto Fernando 17th. The Jack Miller electrical problem. So that saw Jack crash out. But what do you think about the Jerez race, and what do you think about some of the points that we've raised? The Dorna commentary, I'd be interested if someone else is out there that doesn't take the world feed. What commentary should I be listening to? What should I change to? And look, maybe even we could do a live commentary here on With Antone. You know, you let me know. And what about qualifying? We've lost the king, so what does it mean? Bagnaia, his mental state continues. I'm not too sure where he's going to go. And who can beat Marc Marquez? Himself? And what do you reckon about Casey Stoner? I think it would be fantastic. I think we were really robbed of a chance. Casey was going out of HRC and Marc Marquez was coming in. We really didn't get that battle, and it's one for me that I would really like to see. But anyway, I really appreciate you watching. Just remember, sometimes it takes 5 years and 89 race starts before you're a MotoGP winner like Marc Marquez is. So please, if you've enjoyed the episode, please give it a thumbs up. Love to read your comments down below if you've got any thoughts on the race, and look forward to talking soon. Okay, bye for now.